Yeah, it's recording right now.
Okay, does everyone see the resources for success in pathways slide? Great. Okay, so these slides were sent out ahead of time, and today I'm going to be using the slides very sparingly. And so those slides are there for your reference. What I will be doing is I will be switching back and forth between the slides and a live demo of what we see on Pathways or on the Toastmasters websites or on these external resources. On the screen here, something to note, there are a lot of names, a lot of people to help you out with Pathways. We also have the Pathways District46 at gmail.com email. So anytime you have a question that you can't find an answer to, feel free to reach out to that email, or also any suggestions that you have. So I'm going to be putting out some tips. Maybe you have your tip as well, and you could share that with us so that we could share with the broader District 46 community in one of these webinars. So the agenda for today, we're going to talk about pathway resources, primarily the navigator and tutorials. And this is just recapping what we've already covered before, but some of us may have forgotten it because we're very eager to get our members onto the icebreaker. And so we happen to skip some of this information when introducing our new members. So let's recap on that. We're going to touch on District 46 resources on the District 46 website. Also, there are resources that Pathways guides have put together. There's a YouTube channel and there's a shared drive. And then lastly, video conferencing with Zoom. We are video conferencing by Zoom today, and it's a big group. But you can also do video conferencing with your members, either in a smaller club environment or on a one-to-one. So suppose a member has problems with accessing Pathways or getting through Pathways, you can have a little support session on your own by using Zoom. Okay, and then we'll conclude with Q&A. So here I'm going to go ahead and leave our slides. So first, I want to point out to us a quick reminder of the navigator. And when I was thinking about this presentation, I was like, well, Toastmasters really enabled us to satisfy the needs of our member. And really the navigator is where that starting point is. So any new member that comes to Toastmasters, we should be pointing them to the navigator. And it's accessible, it's public. Guests can access this. And right here, welcome to Toastmasters, what Toastmasters is all about. Down here, Pathways Learning Experience. So a lot of people have questions about, well, what is this new program that we have, Pathways? And that leads us there. Also on this page, we have Choose Your Own Path, Getting Started, Getting Your Assessment, the magazine. So one of the great resources that we have at Toastmasters is the monthly magazine. And here it is online, one of the promises of Pathways and the modernization with the Toastmasters program. And then navigate in PDF format. I know a lot of people like to work offline, where they'd like to have a copy. You can take the PDF and put it on a tablet, and you could easily access that. So all that is available simply from Pathways and going to the navigator. Okay. Next thing that I want to show us is when you get into your profile, there's this quick Pathways link, and you could just click on that to get into the Pathways program. And this may be what you see when you first enter Basecamp. Okay, it might be a little bit different, but you will always have these menus on the top. And the one thing that I want to bring to our attention today and focus on a little bit is tutorials and resources. So once again, how do I get started on the icebreaker? How do I do something within Basecamp? This tutorials and resources section will be very helpful. Okay. One thing that I personally found a little bit difficult here are these icons, these big icons, and they don't tell me a lot of information. Also, the various languages. So how do we overcome that? One thing is to focus on this left-hand side. So for example, evaluation resources. You want to get the evaluation forms for all the speeches. So just remember to go to the section, go to the language preference, and then the list is very well filtered. It goes from hundreds to 61 results. Now, even better too is this list view, right? Maybe not as pretty, there's not that beautiful hand, but what it does give us here is a little bit of more of a description. It also gives us more evaluations on the screen, and it's in alphabetical order. So it's easy on the eye in terms of scrolling through and finding what you need in this section. Okay, so to recap a little bit, tutorials and resources, and then go into the particular area that you're interested in. So evaluation resources 1. Another one's project descriptions, or wow, hey, the navigator's here as well. So we can get different resources that helps us through tutorials and resources. Okay. Basecamp Manager. This is something that a lot of us club officers are a little bit apprehensive about. So a lot of details are in here. And these are all online classes. So I'm not going to click on this and start these online classes. These are going to be videos. A tutorial quick reference guide. I just want to open up one of these to give an example. So accessing your path. When I click on that, it brings me to a launch page. I click on launch, and guess what? It gives me a PDF. So once I have this PDF, there are 2 things I could do to provide this information to my club member or fellow Toastmaster. 1, I could copy and paste this link. I could send them this link by email. And if they're logged into Basecamp, they can paste this link in, and they could get access to this document right away. They don't have to search through tutorial resources to find it. Another thing that we could do is we could download this, and we could save that file to our PC, and we could email that to our member. So there are ways to get this information out to our members. I personally have created my own quick guides and done short videos. And what I found after digging through a lot of these tutorial resources is Toastmasters actually has produced a lot of excellent material. So take a moment, browse through it. Maybe you could use it. And it'll be great if we use these so that everyone gets the same message, right? We don't get one person's tutorial which says one thing, and another person's tutorial mentions another. And lastly, as things change, because now we're online, things will change. Toastmasters will update this information, whereas tips and guides that we put together ourselves might go stale in a year or 2. Okay, so that was resources within Toastmasters, within Pathways that I wanted to touch on tonight. Next thing that I want to touch on is our district website. A lot of good information, including information about our district conference. I hope a lot of us are aware of our district conference, May 18. Register, tickets, and more information right here. But today we're going to focus on this Pathways category. So under here, Pathway Resources. This is all linking to mostly Toastmasters provided information. And if you look at this, you're like, oh, this is stuff I already seen. This is basic stuff. But as you scroll down a little bit further, there's some really interesting reference information, especially this one here. I found this particular reference nice. It's a companion resource for members. I already downloaded this PDF, so I'm going to bring it over. It's a nice, pretty long document, but what I like is this table here. It goes ahead and outlines the different paths, the speeches, the requirements, where they're electives. I know people have asked for a lot more information, and here it is, this detailed information that's been put out by other Toastmasters out globally. Okay, so don't forget to check out the Toastmasters District website for information. I mentioned that we have a lot of pathway guides, and we produce our material as well. So Stephanie is one of our pathway guides, and she has put together some quick videos. These are 44 seconds, a minute 50. They're quick videos that guides the user, guides our members to the assessments, to logging on to Toastmasters websites. And as we develop more material within District 46, we'll post more videos up here. And so you can come back here and see this. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so that when new videos go up, you get access to it. So there, before I keep going, all this information is on the PowerPoint slides that you receive in the email. So the links to all these resources are on that PDF document with the slides. So in addition to the video, the YouTube channel, there's also the Google Drive. Just a few minutes ago, I went ahead and I uploaded the PowerPoints in PDF format. So there it is, resources for success on their pathways. And we have Navigator here, Pathways Catalog. As we develop more material, we will post this information up here to help us. Okay. And one thing that I want to mention with the Pathways YouTube channel and the shared drive and also the district website is we want you to be part of this as well. So if you're seeing something that's missing, or you remember this presentation that was given a while ago, but where is that resource document? Email the pathways d46@gmail.com and ask, and maybe we'll find that and we'll post that for you and provide that information to everyone in District 46. Okay, the last topic I want to touch on today is Zoom. And so for the folks that are a little bit apprehensive about Pathways, oh my goodness, you're going to have so much fun with Zoom. When I showed you Pathways a little bit earlier, the tutorial and resources, it does take a little bit of time to view these tutorials and to figure things out. But there are resources online to help you with all of this. First of all, Zoom is a great tool for conferencing. It's also free, which is a very, very important thing. So as a free account, you do have a limit to the number of callers. So District 46 has a different type of account, so we have more members. But if you're just working with your fellow Toastmasters, like one-on-one or one-on-5, then a simple free account will suffice. And in a free account, your meetings are also timed to 45 minutes. So as you get closer to the 45-minute mark, it gives you a countdown. It says 10 minutes left. And then when 45 minutes come along, you do get completely shut off. So that helps us to keep our meetings short. I think it's a good thing. With Zoom, there's also this support page. And I myself, I never click on the support page. But if you're interested in getting started with Zoom, I highly suggest hitting that support page, because right here, getting started, it is amazing how well they have put together their material to get people started using their services. There are screenshots that are provided, and just a lot of great, excellent guides to get you started in Zoom. One thing that I do want to show you, which I will go back to the slides now, if I could find it. Okay. It's this bar in the bottom. So when you start up your Zoom meeting, this is what you will see. I don't know if everyone saw this or you saw a similar bar. So there's the mute, whether people can hear you or not, the start video or hide video, depending on what situation you're in, managing participants, and this share button. So whenever you're ready, you hit that share button and you could select a particular application that you have opened. But there's also these two options, or one or two options depending on how many screens you have. For example, where I'm sitting right now in my office, I have 2 screens. And it asks me, there's a screen 1 and screen 2. If you're just working on your laptop, you might only have a screen 1. But what I recommend is sharing the entire screen. That way, as you go through different applications, you're not going back to share that new application that you want to show. You just share the entire screen. And the next thing that I want to show you is after you start sharing your screen, and you're done with the meeting, or you're done with your screen share, where you need to hide your screen for a moment, the stop share button is right there. There's also more on this menu. And actually, I think I might be able to bring my live one here right now. So there's the stop share and the more. So we could go ahead and pause the recording or stop the recording. A lot of different features that are available here. But in order to really end your meeting well, you should hit the stop share button, see everyone, maybe hear everyone, and then end your meeting after everyone's clear on the conclusion of your meeting. And that is really what I had prepared for us here tonight. To summarize, don't be afraid. I mean, not don't be afraid, but I encourage all of us to use the Pathway resources. So there's the navigator, and then there are a lot of tutorials within Pathways itself. And why should we use those resources? Because they're official. They will change. They'll be updated over time. And honestly, they're really well put together. If you ever view one of the tutorials where it is a video that illustrates how to use Basecamp, it's a quick video. It's very well developed. District 46 resources, you go there, there's information on Pathways, as well as, hey, you get to find out that the conference is happening in May and the date and the registration for it. Browse around District 46 website while you're at it. And Pathway Guide resources with the videos and the share drive. We would love to get content from you as well. And then definitely, we're now in the 21st century. Pathways is online. Let's all get online with connecting with our members. Okay, I'm not saying let's just do everything by email, but we still want to have interactions with our members. We want our club meetings, but we want to augment. We want to go ahead and utilize some of these tools. For example, Zoom. There are other conferencing tools out there as well. So I encourage you to explore and experiment on your own. But it's very important to have something like video conferencing, because you're at the meeting and someone will say, hey, I cannot get past level 1 even though I did the icebreaker. And you're asking them, so do you see this screen? Do you see that screen? And ultimately, you could resolve that issue by, hey, let's just set a time, 7 o'clock Monday evening, we'll hop on Zoom and you show me what you're seeing. Well, I'm show you what I am asking you to do. And you can get things resolved very quickly by showing what you see in Basecamp and in Pathways. And definitely have fun experimenting. I would love to hear your experiences. I'm sure all your fellow club members would love to hear your experiences. And I would love to learn from all of us. Okay, and definitely keep this email handy. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, I am going to try to unmute the meeting now. And unfortunately, here we go.
Okay,
Unmute all.
So
Okay.
we have already some questions, but it's more related to the resource sharing. So I think Nasha first bait one, and I think another person, Dunsdale, also want to have the materials. I think everyone have that in the PowerPoint and PDF, correct? Already in the email.
Yes.
Okay, so on downstairs, I also have a question that she wants to find out what level advanced clubs are using as an entry point, level 2 or 3. What would you recommend?
That is the first time I've heard that question. What would an advanced club use as an entry point? I don't know. I think that's something members have to get together and say, as an advanced club, we're going to be level 3 or level 4 or someone has completed a full path to be in our advanced club. I think that's something that club members should decide on their own. I'd love to hear it though.
Downstairs, I have just a question. So because right now pathway rollup, it also depends on your district. As Chris said, if you have more people already finished level 2, maybe you could set up the level 3 as entrance level. But if still, less people finish the level 2, maybe you could start even so called the level 1, the third speech. I think it depends on the district level right now. But I think level 2 also could be the choice.
Okay.
I think Nasha want to say something. Nasha.
But you are here. You are here. Who is that? Another person is talking.
So Nasha, do you have any question?
I don't know. It's on today.
Okay, and I also see we have several pathway guys here. I see Audrey, I see Beaver, I see just a moment ago, I see Loretta, and I see, of course, downstairs is also know a lot of a pathway. So you also could share your best practice and lesson learned from when we're doing the pathway implementation. I think you could unmute everyone and step yourself, and then I will go one by one.
I believe everyone's unmuted right now.
Okay, that's great. So anyone have a question, you're typing in the chat box, and if you want to say something, you can unmute yourself. Click on the window on the laptop. You could click on the left bottom corner, unmute yourself. If you're dialing as a phone, and then you could put the *6 to unmute yourself. While waiting for question, actually, Quay, I want you to share the experience go details that how you help the members to get to know pathway. You're using the Zoom to doing that. And actually a lot of clubs telling me that in their meeting location, they don't have Wi-Fi, so it's very difficult for helping the members enroll in pathway.
If you don't have Wi-Fi, it's difficult to get to bed.
Yeah, so, and then we actually provide a very good practice.
There? Yeah. I have to get the, I got it, but they'll give it to me, the code. Let me tell you something.
Okay, I think I'm going to go back to mute all. And if you would like to speak, put a comment in the chat window. And Alice, I've unmuted you. So you had a question?
Yeah, so the question is, I want you to tell more everyone here in the more details, how you help the members to understand pathway using the Zoom. Because a lot of clubs, they told me because they don't have Wi-Fi when they have a meeting, they're usually still in the offline, and they how to help the members to get familiar with that. And they also find some difficult, but you already provide one best practice to help a club member get used, so you could use the video, but we want to hear more about that.
Video has, for me, been more of a troubleshooting tool. So encouraging our members to, when they go back home, to go to toastmasters.org and access the navigator. That has been, I think, the way to go. And then as they go through the path, if they have questions or they get stuck, then it's where we could help with using like a Zoom conference. And that's also, after talking to them saying, oh, did you click on this image or that image? And we're just not communicating very well, trying to describe the images. Because you could spend a lot of time talking about images, but still not getting the point across. Whereas if you could set a time and meet and do a quick 10-minute call with something like Zoom, that kind of confusion could get resolved really quickly. I also had a scenario where a member couldn't log on, and I kept telling him, you just gotta hit the forget password link. And he's like, that's not working for me, Quay. And so we did a conference, and he showed me exactly what he was doing, and it's exactly what I had intended him to do. And as a result, we had to call Toastmasters International. Turns out he had 2 membership accounts with Toastmasters International, and they had to resolve it at Toastmasters International. So I did end up with going back and forth with this member, a couple of different meetings. We wasted a lot of time by trying to talk things out, where once we got on the same screen and we were looking at the same screen and he's showing it to me, I'm like, oh, that's not right. I've never experienced that before. And so we were then able to reach out to Toastmasters International and get it resolved pretty quickly within a day. So I wish I did that a little bit earlier.
Thank you. And also want to mention one thing that I know Quay is very technology savvy. I think we could have a partnership. A lot of people the club officer may not be very technology savvy, but they could find a member who is technology savvy and work together as a partner. So maybe you could have 2 people sit together, not only just Quay, maybe another person sit together with Quay and help members doing that. So this is a question. And while waiting for a question, I have another question. So now we have the club officer pathway enrollment go to 76%. How we could motivate the remaining 24% to be enrolled in pathway for the club officers? Any suggestion, not from Craig, but also from the people participates, like downstairs, Loretta, Audrey, and I see people's name. You will see the pathway guy. Let me see all the name. And Marcy, Marilyn, Caroline. So if you have any question, any suggestion, best practice downstairs, give us this, because our district 46 want to. Loretta, I saw you.
Yes.
How to motivate the last mile person, to go further.
Alice. Hello?
Am I talking? Can you hear me?
So Loretta first, and then downstairs. Loretta first.
Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, my pathway guides days were in the very, very, very beginning. And I really am trying to soak up everything that I can for what is the current pathway, the real pathway guides who were trained to once the program was live. But all along, we only have to keep reinforcing it. And that's been the best way. Actually, being a pest about it, because we have quite a few members in our club who are still using the old system, and not very many new members have come on board. So it's just mainly repetition.
Thank you, Loretta. And then downstairs, I hear you want to share some best practice and lesson learned. Dunstan, are you there? I hear just a moment ago.
Okay, I was muted. What I was saying is the best practice I have that in most of the districts in the Middle East, they have a pathways promotion committee with former guides and ambassadors who help to promote pathways. But what I've noticed here that thinking of my club, the World Toastmasters Club of Riverdale, ever since we launched, the pathways launched in the D46, they have seen no guides. No guides. They don't have an area director, they don't have a guide. So all the new members do not embrace pathways. It is important for the club officers to start on pathways, and then they can show the example. So two things I want to say. Let all officers start pathways, let them show the way as leaders, and the others will follow. Secondly, to have a committee to promote pathways. Like what we're doing now, this is very good. This webinar that you have every week is very, very useful.
Thank you, Dunstan.
So many new members who cannot do anything.
Beverly, do you have some suggestion?
Hi, I am, my club, we have a lot of new members, and as the members sign up for Pathways, we're all learning together. I have one of my members who completed level 1 and is now starting level 2. And so I think the advantage for me is that we're all on the same, at the same level, not too many people working on the old CC manuals. So there really aren't any best practices. It's just that we're all learning together.
I like that. You're learning together. You also set up the atmosphere and supporting environment. So don't just, just one person like this.
Alice, hi, it's Marcy.
Hi, Marcy. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe you want to mute all again, and then I'll unmute myself.
Okay. Wait, you need to unmute everyone, and then put Marcy on.
I think, Marcy, you're set to go.
Okay, thanks. So since it's a whole new program, maybe it calls for there to be a new club officer in all the clubs, like at the Toastmasters International level, to create a new position in the clubs, specifically for pathway training.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Let me see, Audrey. Audrey, are you there?
Yes, and I think that's a great idea to have a new officer that's going to be a trainer. I think that's an excellent idea.
And I also want to say, maybe we don't need to wait for Toastmaster to have that. We could begin to do it in the club. You could set up as a called pathway trainer in a club, like a Beverly. You learn together, but always this would be a team lead. So this person could be a trainer for the club, for the pathway. I think it also would help the club. But I like the idea. Any other people from any other suggestion or lesson learned? Because this is our forum, our space to share and learn from each other and grow together.
I think we're going to get cut off, right? Because it's almost 7:40, Alice.
No,
right?
no, it's fine. It's fine. It will not be cut off.
Oh, okay.
Alice has a premium account.
So I think Marilyn, you want to share?
What I said, like many of the other people are saying, that many of the members in their club are new, so that they're automatically on the pathways. I'm listening to these webinars because I'm, quote, old, and I'm still working on completing my CC and CL. So I want to really finish, because I'm almost at the end of both of them before I start on Pathways. Because I don't want to do a Pathways assessment now, because maybe I'm going to have different interests by the time I get to it. So what's going to happen if I've already done a pathway assessment and they've told me certain, could I do like a pathway assessment twice?
Mary, I could jump in to answer this question. So you could do both. You don't need to wait for you finish the CCCL. And I understand your concern that you don't, maybe the assessment right now, you choose a pass 1, and later you change your mind to pass 2. But Toastmasters International allow you change your mind in 1 month. So you still have a chance to change your mind if you even choose that. Because
but my month is over, Alice, because when because as a vice president of membership, I thought I should do this Pathways assessment just to see what it's like so I could talk about it to my other members. So I did this maybe 3 months ago, but then I never followed through on it. So I don't know what position I'm in now.
So you could start, because basically all levels in the 10 pass, level 1 is similar. We have 10 pass, the level 1, but I think it's good to start to explore. As you said, you want to share your members what is your experience. And also sometimes you are not alone. I think Beverly shared the experience, Audrey, Loretta, you can reach out to them, say, hey, you have learned, maybe you could invite them to come to your club to tell more, and invite them, maybe they could become your club trainer.
Okay.
This is also the space here, we know each other, and then we could support each other.
But that's not her question.
Right. Thank you.
Alice.
My question is that 3 months ago, I did a Pathways assessment, never followed through on it. So if I want to do another pathway assessment when I'm ready to actually start Pathways, is there any contraindication since I've already taken the Pathways assessment?
So it depends on that. So I think this is a question I could answer just partially, because you already passed 3 months. I know where formally is in 1 month. You could change any pass you would like. In 3 months, usually when you call Toastmasters,
Hey, Marianne.
Yeah.
Toastmasters International, you could tell them, and then usually they will change. But I cannot 100% guarantee. Usually they will say yes, but you call them. Don't just email. Call them.
Okay.
Also, for people who are dual members during the Pathways rollout, so if you're a member of 2 clubs before May 15 and you continue to be a member of 2 clubs after May 15, I recall that you get 2 free paths. So the way to get your second free path is to call up Toastmasters International and ask for it. So if you're among those dual members, don't forget the second credit.
Use up too many her days for work.
That's very important. You must call them. Do not take the second assessment. That's my understanding.
That's right. Don't put your credit card number in. Call them first.
47.
Usually they will say yes, based on my experience. I think Craig, you need to unmute to mute everyone, and then because I still see some noise. And then we have final 3 more minutes. Anyone have any question or best practice or anything you want to share? Okay, I have a question that for the club contest everyone is doing right now, for Toastmasters International Speech Contests, the eligibility, they say that you finish 6 CC speech for the traditional one or 2 levels in pathway. So we already checked Toastmasters International what they mean 2 levels. They say they have 2 situations. Once the first situation is 1 pass, level 1, level 2. But you also could do in 2 pass, like dual membership. Let's say I do the effective coaching level 1, and then I do the dynamic leadership level 1. So you add into level 1, 2 levels. So this is Toastmasters International explanation to us. I hope everyone could understand that. So when they say 2 levels of pathway, they also explain that could be 1 path, level 1, level 2, but it also could be level 1 in 1 path, level 1 in another path. I hope everyone could to get that information and spread the word. And if you have any questions, let me know or let the pathway guys know.
Thank you, Alice.
Okay. Okay, I think we're good. And then we could unmute everyone and then to have the final, how to say, final adjourn before that, and then we say goodbye to everyone. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Grace for the excellent presentation, because your presentation has a lot of resources and everyone would benefit a lot. And I also want to thank all the useful inputs from Marcy downstairs, Juliet, Loretta, Beverly, I think I do miss Marilyn, Michi. Do I miss anyone else? But thank you everyone for your input. It's very helpful. And I like the idea, the club trainer. So don't wait for Toastmasters International to have that kind of role. You could do it right now. And the club trainer, you don't just need to locate it in your own club. You can also borrow the resources. And now you know some Toastmaster pathway guy here. So reach out to them to ask them, say, hey, could you be our club trainer? To help us. So this is the what I want to say, and thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.